We grow more than 300 different crops in Washington state alone, and it's because of our ability to irrigate. Today, the Columbia Basin Project serves about 671,000 acres in east central Washington. We grow everything from apples and potatoes to hops for beer and grapes for wine. In fact, the wine industry in Washington now includes, get this, more than 900 wineries, 350 growers, and 50,000 acres of land, all made possible by irrigation. Our team caught up with Victor Palencia of Palencia Winery right here in Kennewick. Here's his story.
You know, the season's been beautiful, the flavors have been amazing. In fact, this vineyard is actually called Big River, the irony of it all. The Wallach Slope, that happens to be the second hottest region in Washington, and just beautiful, ripe texture, color, and flavors. My name is Victor Palencia. I'm the owner and winemaker for Palencia Wine Company, and we're here today at Monarca Winery in Kennewick, Washington. It's literally the heartland of wine country. Within a 60-mile radius, I can find some of the more premier vineyard sites. This is gonna be now my 21st vintage. I was very fortunate that I got an early start, naturally. I grew up in Prosser, Washington. The fact that I grew up around wine grapes helps me understand wine and wine grapes themselves. So that, I think, translates into wines that are truly of definition and varietal characteristic and just unique in nature. The importance of water in wine, it's crucial, and it's amazing to think, but we are literally in a desert land. Wine grapes thrive in this environment. And I should add to that, it's not just the grapes themselves, it's the quality of wine grapes that are grown with this arid climate, if you may. We can pinpoint the usage of water in the most efficient manner, and in addition to that, grow the best quality we can. So it's interesting to think, but wine grapes are one of the most efficient growing crops out there because we don't necessarily require a tremendous amount of water, but it is essential. I mean, you can't do it without the water. Red Mountain happens to be one of the hottest region in Washington state. So naturally, we gotta have access to proper water to be able to manage these growing techniques. What makes Red Mountain so special is the beautiful extraction you get from these berries. Look at that color. Just a beautiful, beautiful color. We are definitely a diverse region, and what I love about this place is you get the whole dinner. You can find some of the best local wine producers, amazing potato farmers, fresh produce. The list goes on, and it's all because of our vast region, the rich agriculture, but additional to the having access to great farming and water, of course.
Yes, wine is kind of that sweetheart food product that we grow here in the basin, but there are farmers growing multiple crops, providing food for Americans and people around the world. Our friends at Washington Grown caught up with Nicole Berg, who farms on the Horseheaven Hills, where diversity in farming is impossible without irrigation. Here's her story.
Now, Val's traveling to Patterson, an area that rarely sees rain, but serves as home to Berg Farms. She spoke with Nicole Berg about how this family farm relies on irrigation to keep their crops thriving.
We farm wheat, sweet corn, potatoes, onions, carrots, bluegrass seed, beans, peas, all on the farm.
Wow.
How are they able to grow so much in an area that only gets 7 inches of precipitation a year?
When we decided to come back, me and my 2 brothers, being 4th generation, we were a dry land farm. We had dry land wheat only. And in order to kind of turn the corner and make room for some of the next generations, you had to expand. And expanding it gets into irrigated agriculture. We looked at it as an opportunity for irrigated agriculture to come on the farm and the diversification. Because if you look at the world today, we need to feed the world. And we have to do it through precision ag and through farming. And in the Horseheaven Hills, the best way to do it is through water out of the mighty Columbia River. We pump about 6 miles underground in a 42-inch pipe up to the edge of the farm, and then it comes out through our big pivots. We only water when the plant needs the water. You know, if you have good quality in your plants and you do good management practices, whether it's through your irrigation water management or your soil moisture monitoring, it will help you create that round potato and not a kind of a weird looking potato in the supermarket.
Right. How does technology help you manage water?
We can do everything through the computer systems, through our cell phones, through our iPads, our notepads. We can turn on and off the water. We can gauge the pressures coming up from the river. Also, it's helped in conservation. We don't water as much as probably we did 10 years ago. Irrigation water management is just kind of something that's the wave of the future. It's what everybody's doing, and it really is a science. So you become a business person and a scientist.
I asked Nicole if she could show me their pump station down by the bank of the river.
So remember the water that was coming out at the farm?
Yes.
That's where it's coming out from, right here.
Hot diggity dog.
Out of the Columbia River. There's a pipe that jets out into the river, big, huge pipe. It has fish screens on it. Then it comes into the pump station. There's about 4,800 horsepower down here at the pump station.
So how much water does this pump up to your farm? Can you take as much as you want? Is that regulated?
So the Columbia River is regulated by the Corps of Engineers. So what happens is we had to get a permit, and it's called 71 CFS, which is cubic feet per second of water we're permitted to send up to the farm. So when we pump our water out, we saved water somewhere else. So we don't take any water out.
The balance again.
It balances again, yeah. Farming in Washington and across is the safest food in the world. Through all our technologies, through all our research we do in the universities, we take a pride in growing safe food for everybody and tasty food. You know, I want everybody to like my sweet corn.
I do.
Coming up next, we'll take a look at how the dams play a role in more than just agriculture. Stay with us. Thanks for watching.
For generations, the world has looked to farmers as the caretakers of the land and providers of our family's most vital nutrition. Today, wheat and barley farmers throughout eastern Washington honor that legacy and continue in a tradition of innovation that will ensure families have the food, clean water, and soil they need for generations to come. Washington Wheat and Barley. Quality you can count on.
Port of Benton drives economic growth, trade, and tourism by providing quality infrastructure and multimodal transportation for businesses and the community in Tri-Cities, Washington. If you are starting a new business, relocating, need space to grow, or planning an expansion, opportunity happens here. Join international companies in science, technology, value-added agriculture, and advanced manufacturing in one of the fastest growing and affordable communities in the inland Pacific Northwest.